have been really feeling older games lately, and one that I always enjoy that I barely ever see mentioned is Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum. So today, let me tell you about it, and hopefully put something new in your radar. Fun fact, I still have my original copy, bought brand new close to the game's release. It came with some cards, but those are long gone. Anyway, it's time to review Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum. Despite Yu-Gi-Oh! Being mostly known for the card game, there are a few variations of it, and this game is based on one of them. Capsule Monster Coliseum is a turn-based game where you place monsters on a diorama-looking stage with the objective of either destroying all your opponent's monsters or their player piece named a symbol. Each monster has an element and can move and attack in a specific way inside the grid-based map. So, for example, a monster might be able to move 3 tiles in an X shape, but only attack around himself 1 tile in a cross shape. You probably get the point. Each element has a weakness and a strength versus another element. It is useful to keep this in mind, but I ended up being too stubborn most of the times and just using my go-to monsters. But that's just me, you do you. At the start of every match you pick a random card with a number which determines if you choose to play first or second. You always want to pick first because it lets you strategize better, trust me. You also have a set of points to use, both for picking monsters to use, but also for moves in actual matches. Naturally, stronger monsters have a bigger point requirement. You can upgrade these over time. Every time a monster destroys another piece or simply survives a match, it gains experience points. These can lead to level ups, which are a great way to make your pieces stronger, and is also how you level up your symbol, which helps the points you can use. If a monster gets destroyed in battle, it won't be usable for the next match. However, a little trick you can do to circumvent this is to simply surrender, press try again, and all your monsters will be available, even the ones that were destroyed in the previous battle. Some monsters can be evolved into other stronger ones with enough level ups, and most, if not all monsters, gain a special ability. For example, group heal or an AoE attack, which is incredibly useful. Apparently, you can also fuse certain monsters together, but I never did that, so let's leave that at that. The arenas have tiles that can affect your monster's strength, whether it be positively or negatively, and sometimes it can even hurt them. A decent amount of them have a transition of sorts, sometimes more aesthetic, at least I didn't notice a lot of difference, and others more significant with major changes to monster stats and such. They're all visually distinct, and the changes in terrain made you have to think where your monster was at all times, which made for another compelling strategic element. The game is divided into 3 modes. Versus mode, where you can play against a friend, they can even load their save and use their monsters. Free battle mode, where you can repeat any battle from the campaign with no order whatsoever, and the actual campaign, which is divided into 5 areas with 5 battles for area. There is basically no plot to talk about here. There's a tournament of Capsule Monsters and Yugi, and all the known cast of the show is participating, and that's it. At the end, you get a text telling you, "Congrats, now play more of our game," and it just ends. This was honestly a very crappy ending, but it didn't really matter because that was never the point of the game. And they did give us at least full voice acting in English and German for some reason on the little interactions between characters there are, so that's cool. You can buy and sell your pieces by going to the shop, and after a while you have to remove monsters from your choice pool. You are never really forced to sell though, so you can just put them back if you want. You can choose some of your opponent's monsters to keep when you win, but all the really strong ones are mostly on the shelf, so I definitely recommend checking it out once in a while. There are at least 200 monsters without cheats to get, so you can make a pretty varied and cool team. If you are willing and able to hack the game, there are an additional 77 unused monsters which all have attack animations and some even pictures. I'm not sure why they were removed, but it's a fun little thing to do. I didn't really do it, mostly because I only found out about it while doing research for the script, but hey, maybe next time. Speaking of animations, each monster has an animated attack that you can choose to see or not. These are simple, a bit ugly, but they can be fun to see at least once. For me, I preferred the speed of gameplay without them, so I turned turn them off. You can do this in battle, so it's very easy to toggle on and off either way, so just do what feels right for you. And with that, I think that's it. Well, I did write one more thing on my notes which says, I quote, Stage 4, what's with the owl? WTF. I don't really know what this means anymore, but if I find it, I will put it here, I guess. Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum is what I would call a hidden gem. I had so much fun with it that it overshadowed the game I finished first. Yeah, I got distracted again. The story is non-existent, but the gameplay is engaging and kept me hooked all the way through. I found it to be a pretty chill but not brain-dead game with a surprisingly balanced difficulty. An absolute recommend for me, especially if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Or turn-based strategy. Maybe one of these days I'll talk about the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that I poured crazy hours into, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like and comment, and hopefully I will see you next time.